What's going on, guys? Happy Friday. Yo, band list has dropped, and we got what we needed for most of us. There's people out there that are salty about it, but hey, guess what? It is what it is. Make sure if you like the video, go ahead and leave a like down below. Also, leave a comment, and if you haven't, go ahead and subscribe to your boy. Short band list, but it is well worth it. We're gonna go over the reasons, the cards, and the reasons why these cards were banned and or errated. So we're gonna go ahead and get right to the video. All right, banned. Boom. Violent Rush Bojack. Reason for banning him: the presence of the card creates additional energy that any blue-yellow deck can utilize for strong defensive plays at minimum cost. We predict this card to become over-centralizing in the upcoming and future format, so we've decided to ban it to encourage exploration of new strategies. Me as a casual player, that's all I want. I want to be able to be creative. I want to be able to play a color and be like, yo, this card isn't mandatory. That's how I feel most people in card games should feel. Now, of course, you have the top 1%. They just want to play to win. It's understandable. But when you have a card that's just super unhealthy, or if someone sees your list and you're not running this particular card and they're like, oh, you're bad. A card should never be that good to the point that it's so flexible and having your community on your back calling you bad because the card is just that busted. I mean, how blue yellow was going if the card didn't get banned or errated. Blue yellow would have been the top decks running around by far. So I think that's a good call on Bandai's end, especially because you get to draw a card and the arrival requirements for this card and in blue yellow in general is just so easy to do. Is basically free. And of course, defensive step, if you're playing blue yellow, drawing a card, withstanding 2 energy, and then still having access to Bean, Zamasu super combo. Blue yellow had a lot of tools that it can use to oppress your opponent and still advance the game state. So I think that's a good touch that they did with banning the Bojack. So on to the next card. Now this card was errated. When this card first dropped, there was so much hype behind it, and original text in this card has energy exhaust, indestructible counterplay. Play this card, and if the card being played has energy cost of 4 or less, it's turned on its hand instead. Permanent: if you have another blue-yellow multicolored card in your energy, negate this card's in the exhaust skill in all areas. When it has auto, when this card is played, draw 1 card, then choose one of your opponent's battle cards and switch it to rest mode. So this card was a 2-for-1. On counterplay, it bounced any card 4 or less to your opponent's hand, and on auto, when it's played, you get to draw a card and rest mode a battle card. So on the auto alone, you got the rest mode, just a battle card, just rest it. No stipulation whatsoever, of course, barrier, but the auto alone was busted. But the counterplay effect. So a lot of these decks that relied on unison play on turn 2 through 4, they played their unison, especially with just how strong Aegis was. Being able to restand 2 energy and then playing this guy for 2, bouncing their unison to their hand, the whole turn is dead. And that was just an unhealthy card. Now it's going to be reading. Play this card, and if the battle card being played has any cost of 4 or less, return this is on his hand instead. The reason for this card's unique ability to stop unison cards from being played has proven more disruptive than originally intended and limits viable strategies. We've decided to errata this card to only affect battle cards in order to bolster the amount of viable competitive decks and player enjoyment. Perfect. Looking out for player enjoyment should always be number 1, because the more players you bringing in that want to play this game because it's fun, they enjoy it, it's always a good time to play with your friends, the longer this game will last. And I feel with Dragon Ball Super, you want this game to last like Magic, like Pokemon, like Yu-Gi-Oh. You want this game to stay around for a very long time and continue to grow and get better. I think that's a great call by them. The card is still oppressive. It just, now it only tags a battle card bounce to their hand. And still on play, you get to draw a card, and you can rest one of your opponent's battle cards. Card's still not bad. So, the community is gonna rave over this, like, oh, wasn't that get good? No, you can't get good over a card that just targets any card you play for left. And of course, they'd want you to hop on the bandwagon. Well, maybe you should just play blue, yellow too. But like, why? Why would I want to? And then if I don't have access to this card because the card was $50 a piece at the time, then you're bad. So, no, card was unhealthy for the game. Tied with Bojack, the card was very oppressive, and I'm glad that they errataed it to battle card for less. So good job on that. Definitely good job. Then finally we have Galactic Buster. Zero cost. This card was doing crazy things for blue. And they errated it as well. So the original activate battle. If your leader card is a Bojack Brigade card or a mono blue card, and you choose one mono blue battle card with a combo cost of 1 in your energy, draw one card, then use your chosen card in a combo. If it's your opponent's turn, you use their card in a combo with the skill, place this card in your energy from your drop. And at the end of the battle, switch up to 1 of your energy to rest mode. You can't activate the activate battle skill of copies of this card for the turn. So now, only thing that they changed is that it's only restricted to Bojack Brigade. Can't use it on mono blue lead decks anymore, like Soul Striker, Blue Baby, decks like that. This card is only restricted to Bojack Brigade. So maybe you might see some Bojack Brigade decks kind of maybe try to resurface because there was a lot of Bojack support out there. But why would you play Bojack when you had Soul Striker, you had Baby, you had SS3 Goku, there's so many blue leaders out there with leagues better. There would be no reason to. So they went ahead and restrict this to Bojack Brigade. Reasoning for this card can be used with any blue leader to create an energy economy surpassing its expected use. Designed as a defensive tool for blue decks, changes to the banned limited errata list for Unison Warrior 5 Crossbeards and Special Anniversary Box 2021 has popularized this card outside of Bojack Brigade decks more than originally intended. We decided to errata this card to Bojack Brigade leaders only to encourage more creative strategies for blue leader cards. Well said. Well said with that. Definitely think it's good that they restricted this guy. Biggest thing I was worried about, and I'm glad they didn't touch it, people were screaming out still to ban Turning the Tide. SS4 Vegeta leader. Sensu being pretty sure those were one of the cards that people are like out there. Oh, and Fu, Shrouded Mystery. Now, biggest thing with this game, you have to have a kill condition. Like sooner or later, you have to have a card that can end the game, right? Games can't go on forever. So, Angel 17 Turning the Tide, yeah, and Vegeta, it'll drop on 6. Any of these other ramp decks out here, there's not many, but Turning the Tide is necessary. It's necessary. It's needed. Fu, it's a game ender. It's a budget SCR, basically. It's needed for the game. Sensu Bean is not broken. The card is great. If you took Sensu Bean out, blue would die. Blue would just die, in my opinion. It just does so much for blue. And even if you run in dual color, like blue yellow or blue green, things like that, Sensu Bean is a viable option. And if you pay attention, a lot of people are running Sensu Bean at 3. They're not really running at 4 anymore because the card's still good, but you want to make room for a lot of the other great cards out here. And I feel like all these cards that got touched on the errata, like Bojack, Zamasu, even Galactic Buster, I mean, you're potentially taking up 12 slots in a deck because you feel like you had to. But eliminating this now opens the doors for people to be more creative with their deck building, finding ways to win outside of maybe a card being a little bit stronger than it was intended to be in a box, right? So I think with the Violent Rush Bojack, it was a great call. Blue is already an oppressive and defensive color as it is. Bounce effects, to hand or bottom. It's just the mechanics of blue, and then yellow being that style of rest mode in cards, negating skills. So pair those two together with a card that can be that makes your deck super defensive. In turn, with cards like Sensu Bean and being able to draw a card, and all you have to do is just play your game. Your board state and your hand state keeps advancing, but you're able to literally shut your opponent just out completely. Turns 1 through 4. Like, that is not an enjoyable feeling, and not because your opponent is better than you. It's because the card selections that you have in this tiny box or colors, are just over the top, and there's nothing else in anywhere in between. Other than that, I think honestly the list was pretty spot on. Me and buddies of mine in our community, we've kind of theory crafted and talked about cards that we felt like should be touched, and I think they hit the mark with this. Only thing I would probably talk about is maybe taking Young Invaders off the Errata list. It killed King Vegeta, and it's so sad because the deck itself was just so dope. And a good buddy of mine is basically my brother. He plays King Vegeta, and it was so good. I enjoyed losing to it. I enjoy the game. So if I lose at something that's creative and innovative and it's just cool, I have zero problem. But if I lose solely the power level and not being outskilled, then that's where I feel like, maybe something needs to be addressed. And it's not just me, nitpicking, but if you see it in your whole community, probably you should look at the people in your community and look at the cards they're talking about. Chances are there's a problem with those cards. But anyway, appreciate you guys watching the video. I think they did great with the ban list, was in Errata list. I hope this opens the doors for a lot of people to be more creative when it comes to their deck building and find a way to get over this. This ban is effective November 1st, so I'm pretty sure this goes into effect before Nats. Pretty sure. And I hope it does. We're going to see what people come up with. But let me know down in the comments below what you think about the ban Errata list. What cards do you think that should be up here? And if you feel like these cards shouldn't have been touched that are up here. But see you guys in the next video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.